Yeah. Got a new show for y'all. Got a damn good show. Uh-huh. But for a start show, remember everybody, you can support the Hodgetwins at officialhodgetwins.com. Pick you out a patriotic t-shirt today. Or a hat. Or maybe some bird products. Use discount code Chinese Fires. I give you 20% off. Yeah. Man, I like a good hearing. I like a good debate too, man. Ain't nothing like a good old-fashioned debate, man. I like them damn herons. I like them herons too, man. How you say it, herons? It's herons. Well, Senator, you said herons. Senator, man, ain't nothing like a good old-fashioned hern. I apologize, I'm from the South. But anyway, Senator Rand Paul, he was having him a little hern today. Had Dr. Fauci on now. Check it out.
Dr. Fauci, in a recent British study, David Wiley and others found that no symptomatic reinfections from COVID-19 after following 2,800 patients for several months. In fact, there have been no reports of significant numbers of reinfections after acquiring COVID-19 naturally. Shane Crotty, a virologist at La Jolla Institute for Immunology, concludes from his experiments that the amount of immune memory gained from natural infection would likely prevent the vast majority of people from getting hospitalized disease, severe disease for many years. In this study, which was published in Science, Dr. Crotty showed that antibody levels stayed relatively constant with only modest declines over 6 to 8 months. Dr. Crotty reported that, notably, memory B cells specific for the spike protein, or RBD, were detected in almost all COVID-19 cases with no apparent half-life at 5 to 8 months after infection. In other words, Dr. Crotty found significant evidence of long-term immunity after COVID infection. Furthermore, Dr. Crotty noted B-cell memory to some other infections has been observed for as long as 60-plus years after smallpox vaccination, or even 90 years after a natural infection with influenza. That was a woman who got the Spanish flu, still showed immunity 90 years later. So rather than being pessimistic towards people gaining immunity after they've had COVID or had a vaccine, studies argue for significant optimism. In fact, there have been no scientific studies arguing or proving that infection with COVID does not create immunity. There have been no studies showing significant numbers of reinfections. Of the 30 million Americans who have had COVID, only a handful of reinfections have been discovered. In fact, the New York Times reported last fall more than 38 million people at the time worldwide had been infected with the coronavirus, and as of that date, fewer than 5 of these cases had been confirmed by scientists to be reinfections. Scientists interviewed for the article concluded, in most cases, a second bout with the virus produced milder symptoms or none at all. Given that no scientific studies have shown significant numbers of reinfections of patients previously infected or previously vaccinated, what specific studies do you cite to argue that the public should be wearing masks well into 2022?
I'm not sure I understand the connection of what you're saying about masks and reinfection. We're talking about people who have never been infected before.
You're telling everybody to wear a mask, whether they've had an infection or a vaccine. What I'm saying is they have immunity, and everybody agrees they have immunity. What studies do you have that people that have had the vaccine or have had the infection are spreading the infection? If we're not spreading the infection, isn't it just theater?
No, it's
not. You've
not.
had the vaccine and you're wearing 2 masks. Isn't that theater?
No, that's not. Here we go again with the theater. Let's get down to the facts. Okay, the studies that you quote from Crotty and Sete look at in vitro examination of memory immunity, which in their paper they specifically say this does not necessarily pertain to the actual protection. It's in vitro.
And what studies can you point to that show significant reinfection? There are no studies that show significant reinfection.
Let me finish the response to your question, if you please. The other thing is that when you talk about reinfection and you don't keep in the concept of variants, that's an entirely different ballgame. that's a good reason for a mask. In the South African study conducted by J&J, they found that people who were infected with wild type and were exposed to the variant in South Africa, the 351, it was as if they had never been infected before. They had no protection. So when you talk about reinfection, you've got to make sure you're talking about wild type. I agree with you that you very likely would have protection from wild type for at least 6 months if you're infected. But we in our country now have variants that are circulating.
Significant reinfection. What study shows significant reinfection, hospitalization, and death after either natural infection or the vaccine? It doesn't exist. There is no evidence that there are significant reinfections after vaccine. In fact, I don't think we have a hospitalization in the United States after the 2-week period after the second vaccination. We don't have a death in the United States.
You're not hearing what I'm saying about variants. We're talking about wild type versus variants.
And what proof is there that there are significant reinfections with hospitalizations and death from the variants? None in our country. Zero.
Well, because we don't have a prevalent of a variant yet. We're having one, can I finish? We're having 117 that's becoming more dominant.
Your policy based on conjecture.
No,
it
isn't based on conjecture.
Variants, so you want people to wear a mask for another couple years.
No.
You've been vaccinated and you parade around in 2 masks for show.
No.
You can't get it again. There's virtually 0% chance you're going to get it, and yet you're telling people that have had the vaccine, who have immunity. You're defying everything we know about immunity by telling people to wear a mask who've been vaccinated.
No.
Instead, you should be saying there is no science to say we're going to have a problem from the large number of people being vaccinated. You want to get rid of vaccine hesitancy? Tell them they can quit wearing their mask after they get the vaccine. You want people to get the vaccine? Give them a reward instead of telling them that the nanny state's going to be there for 3 more years and you got to wear a mask forever. People don't want to hear it, and there's no science behind it.
Well, let me just state for the record that masks are not theater. Masks are protective. And we
You have
ask
immunity there, theater. If you already have immunity, you're wearing a mask to give comfort to others.
Senator
You're
Paul,
not
you're out
wearing a
of time,
mask
and I
because
would
of any
like Dr.
science.
Fauci
I
to
totally disagree with you.
Dr. Fauci, man. Dr. Fauci. F-A-L-S-E-Y. Fauci.
Yeah. You shouldn't spell it F-A-U-C-I.
Yeah, I think you don't know how to spell, Dr. Fauci.
But anyway, I think Senator Paul's argument was this. If you either caught the Chinese virus and got over it, or if you got the Chinese virus vaccination, it's so funny.
That just sound funny. You said Chinese virus vaccination. That shit sound crazy. Chinese virus vaccination.
If you've been that, you have immunity to the virus. So he asked Dr. Fauci, why are we asking Americans who've either got the shot or had it, why they continue walking around with masks? And then he put the question to him like, you've got the vaccination, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
Why are you walking up in here with 2 masks on? Isn't that theater?
Yeah.
And then what's his face?
He said, I'm not sure if I understand the question. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I understood every damn word Dr. Senator Rand Paul said.
Yeah, but
Dr. Fauci tried to make the argument that, this is for people who don't have the vaccination, who haven't contracted the virus.
Yeah.
Senator Rand Paul just asked you, I took the damn vaccine or I caught the why do I got to wear a mask?
Yeah.
You didn't answer that question.
Yeah.
Initially, he didn't answer it.
I think he answered it at the end because I guess he just got lost in what the senator was asking him.
Yeah. He got lost, man.
He got lost in
It's
all.
too drawn out.
He got lost in all those facts he gave him first, right? He was pointing out studies how you have immunity to the virus.
Yeah.
So if you got immunity to the virus, you can't get sick with it. If you can't get sick with it, you can't spread it. So why are you asking people to wear a mask when they've either been vaccinated or they caught it?
Key word, you cannot spread it. People can't contract the virus from you, or you can't contract it, or if you do contract it, your symptoms you won't even notice, or they'll be very mild.
Yeah.
His question was very specific on that.
Yeah, and he also brought up the senator. He's like, there's only 5 known cases of people who got the virus.
Yeah.
And they got it again out of the over 30 million people.
It was like 38 million, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
was amazing.
there's only 5 documented cases. So, but then Dr. Fauci said, no, you still have to wear a mask. Even though you had it, even though you went out and got a vaccine, you still got to wear a mask because there's variants. But then he admits that the variants are not like prevalent. They're not everywhere.
Yeah. He said there was some in New York, some in California.
Yeah.
That's a big coincidence. Those are liberal states. I think they caught it because they're liberal scumbags there. But anyway, it's not prevalent.
Yeah, so
He answered his question a roundabout way, but he didn't want to be too specific because him standing there with 2 masks on after he got the vaccine makes Dr. Fauci look like a jackass.
Yeah.
And it makes anybody that's wearing 2 masks who has contracted the virus, you look like a total jackass.
yeah, but Dr. Fauci kind of cleaned it up at the end just a little bit. He said because there's variants, but then he admits they're not prevalent in society.
Yeah.
But the obvious, hold on, let me say this. The obvious question is this. Everybody saw Dr. Fauci several months ago when he said masks don't work. Right? Y'all remember that. But he later clarified. This is what he had to say.
Wanted to bring you some pretty stunning comments from Dr. Anthony Fauci, who basically just admitted why and how the government lied to us about the efficacy of wearing masks. Let's take a listen as he explains the real reason they told us not to do that.
What about a month or so, or 2 or 3 ago, when people were saying, you don't really need to wear a mask? Well, the reason for that is that we were concerned, the public health community, and many people were saying this, were concerned that it was at a time when personal protective equipment, including the N95 masks and the surgical masks, were in very short supply. And we wanted to make sure that the people, namely the healthcare workers, who were brave enough to put themselves in harm's way to take care of people who were infected with the coronavirus and the danger of them getting infected, we did not want them to be without the equipment that they needed.
Well, that makes sense. He meant well.
Yeah. He was like, I got to tell this white lie. It's not a black lie. It's just a white lie. He had to say a white lie because he was scared the public was going to run out and buy all the masks like they was buying the toilet paper, which was going to keep the doctors, the nurses, the medical professionals without any mask.
Yeah.
He's like, he figured if they die, we're all
So we're going to sacrifice you guys. You guys can die, but we cannot lose our medical professionals. You have to understand with me. You have to understand that.
Yeah.
You have to die. We need to keep our medical professionals.
Yeah.
How can you trust a guy?
Yeah. If he's willing to lie about something like that to the public, it makes you think, what else is this man lying about?
Yeah.
Because he's admitted. This is the video where he admits why he said what he said.
Right.
I think we already showed that video. But
you just showed it, you dumbass.
Had a Biden moment. I apologize.
Man, I'm going to take you to the doctor, man. I think you can caught that Biden.
But
you know where you at right now, right?
Yeah.
We're at the office shooting videos.
We're talking about Dr. Fauci. But then Dr. Fauci later clarified with this statement.
Dr. Fauci, if you could respond so that we could understand the difference between the virus itself and the variants and the reason for a mask.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you.
If you could respond to the question so that we could all understand the difference between the vaccine in controlling the wild type versus the variants that are out there and the reason for wearing a mask, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, yes. First of all, when you have a variant, you have an immunity that you get what's convalescent sera and the same sort of thing. If I vaccinate you or me against the wild type, you get a certain level of antibody that's specific for a particular viral strain. If there's a circulating variant, you don't necessarily have it. You have some spillover immunity to be sure, but you diminish by anywhere from 2 to 8-fold the protection. So the point I'm saying is that there are variants in now circulating. The point that Senator Paul was making was that if you look at wild type only, there is some clear-cut credence to what he's saying. But we are living right now in a situation where we're having a dominance of 117, which was the original UK. We have a very troublesome variant in New York City, a 526. We've got 2 variants in California, a 427, 429, and we have a number of others. So we're not dealing with a static situation of the same virus.
Now, did y'all hear what this dude said? We need to wear a mask forever because there's always a possibility of some kind of variant that's going to come out.
Yeah. That shot, that vaccine,
that was
even
a waste.
If you contracted it, there's going to be a variant. So you got to
keep wearing a mask.
Keep wearing a mask. And every time a new variant is found, you got to take that vaccine too.
Yeah.
But you still got to wear a mask forever.
Yeah, because it's going to be another variant eventually.
Yeah. If you listen to Dr. Fauci, he answered Rand Paul's question. There's a variant. There's always going to be a variant. Even though they're not prevalent, I think we should continue to wear masks. Even though it's not prevalent throughout the United States, it's not even prevalent throughout the world. I just think, in my medical opinion, everybody needs to wear a mask because it's a possibility there could be a variant.
Yeah, that's
even though there's not a variant. He even admitted that there's no variant. Yeah. There's some variants in New York, California, but it's not prevalent.
Yeah.
He even answered. He said that. It's not prevalent, but you got to wear a mask. Why? I don't know.
Because he says it might start a new outbreak because it's a different variant. It's a mutant strand.
Yeah.
So you got to continue to wear the mask forever.
You have some protection against a variant if you contract it, if you've had the vaccine or you've caught it.
Yeah, but it's not as effective as it was to the initial strand. Though.
Yeah. So you hear that, everybody? We all are
for the rest of our life. We're wearing masks because Dr. Fauci said so. There's a damn variant coming.
No, you said it wrong.
What?
You got to wear 2 masks for the rest of your life.
Mike Lindell, true patriot. He needs our help.
Here's a man who started from nothing,
built a great company, great products.
Have seen rock bottom, have seen the worst. He ran through drug addiction.
Yeah.
I mean, this man has accomplished so much thing. He's the epitome of the American dream.
He worked hard, has a successful business, great products, and just because he supported the president of the United States, they've taken him out over 20 stores. They abandoned him on social media. Yeah. He's having a tough time even marketing his products.
Yeah. In this country, he's a man of principle. He has employees. He's got a great product. And just because he has different political opinions, big tech wants him to go away. But we're not going to let that happen on our channel.
They want to crush this business too. So support Mike Lindell. Go to mypillow.com and use discount code Hodgetwins. Get up to 60% off.
Yeah. We take care of our patriots in this country. There's always going to be a variant.
Get the shot, though. You got to get the shot. You got to get, even if you get the virus, you get the shot. And then you get the variant. And you get another new shot. You still got to wear that damn mask. To the day you f***ing die! That was a damn good show. Yeah.
Don't forget, go to officialhodgetwins.com. Go to the Fight Censorship tab. Hit the links. Follow us on Telegram. Follow us on Rumble. And follow us on YouTube. They haven't censored us there yet. Yeah, they're actually being fair. Yeah. Go to officialhodgetwins.com and pick you out a patriotic t-shirt today. Hell, I'm even giving you 20% off. Just type in discount code Chinese virus. We call it Chinese because it's from China. We making t-shirts great again.